It's that time of year again. You're probably thinking about the new year. It's time for all the new year, new me social media posts, all of the ads ramping up about getting in shape for January 1st. We all know that New Year's resolutions are heavy on everyone's minds. The unfortunate reality, though, is if you're listening to this in between Thanksgiving and the new year, chances are you're in what I call the quitting phase. That's the time when people tend to let their foot off the gas because it's cold, it's winter, it's holidays, and I'll start again in the new year. But if that's been you in the past, and if you know that starting off the new year with crummy habits, deconditioned, and maybe a little extra weight on you just doesn't feel the best, you have a chance to do something different this year. For my clients and the people that I work with, instead of quitting season, I make this gasoline season. How can we pour fuel on the fire that we've been building all year round? How can we, instead of taking our foot off the gas, put the pedal to the metal? How can we come into the new year full of energy, full of excitement, and using the momentum we've built all year rather than losing it? So today I'm going to tell you 5 powerful actions you need to make habits in your life before the start of the new year so you can make sure this year coming is your best year yet. Welcome to Change Made Easy. Changing your habits, routines, and behaviors is hard. We make it easy. I'm Paul Leviton, and I help high achievers just like you who feel stuck bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Traditional self-help doesn't work. It's either too rigid, too generic, or too overwhelming. My approach is different. I simplify change by making it so easy it can't not happen. Using my easier framework, I'll help you create habits, routines, and behaviors that stick for good, so you can stop struggling and start thriving. It's that easy. I'm recording this episode on December 1st, 2025. Maybe you're listening to this the first, second, third week of December, but really it doesn't matter when because the information I'm going to give you today is relevant year round, and it doesn't matter if it's a new year, new month, or just a new day. The first thing I want to get right out of the way, as I said, I'm going to give you 5 powerful actions that you need to make habits before the start of the new year. And so you might hear that and think, well, doesn't it take so long to build a habit? You've probably heard statistics thrown around like it takes 30 days, 60 days, or anything like that to build a habit. The reality is there's no one set number or one set amount of time that it takes to build the habit. Taking something from just an action and turning it into a habit has many factors that affect how long it takes to actually be ingrained in you, how challenging the thing is, what your other habits are like, what the rest of your life are like, what your environment is like, and a lot of other things go into deciding if something can or will become a habit and how long it will take. So don't listen to anyone who says that it takes a certain amount of time for something to become a habit. As if you do something for 44 days, it won't be a habit, but as soon as you pass day 45, then boom, automatically it's a habit. It just doesn't work like that. So today, I'm going to give you simple actions that you can start to take today. And if you do these for 2 to 3 weeks, you will start to feel an ease in doing them, and they will start to, if not be completely habitualized in your life, they will be well on their way to becoming an easier habit. And when these things become habits in your life, you will 100% see change in the way you feel, the way you look, and the way you go about your life. And just for clarity, these actions and habits that I'm going to go over today are mostly around our health, our physical body, because I know that this time of year, again, coming into the new year, this is something that a lot of people have top of mind. There's statistics that something like 70% of people set New Year's resolutions or goals around improving their health. So I want to help in that if that is you. The first 2 are going to be about eating. The second 2 are going to be about other actions. And then the last one is kind of a catch-all. So the first action that is around your health and your nutrition that you can start with today that will become an easier habit into the new year and beyond is that if you're trying to eat more healthy, like most people are, focus on eating more, not less. I think that a lot of people assume that to eat healthy, especially if your goal is weight loss, but in general, if you want to be a healthy person, that you need to eat less. It means cutting things out. It means cutting back on things. And that might be true to some extent. If you're eating nothing but McDonald's French fries and milkshakes, then you might have to cut back on those foods. But a big issue that I see people run into when they try to start eating healthy is they cut things out and they don't add anything back in. Meaning they're eating all of these unhealthy foods. Maybe they're eating junk food. Maybe they're snacking a lot throughout the day. Maybe their meals are big. And they realize, well, this isn't healthy. This isn't the thing that's going to help me maintain a healthy weight or help me feel my best. So I have to cut all this stuff out. But the problem is when you cut all that stuff out, it leaves a void. And if you're used to eating so many thousands of calories every day, and then you just cut that in half, you're going to feel hungry, you're going to feel probably angry, stressed. Lots of things will happen in your body, and there will be a cascade of effects, both physically and mentally, that will cause it to be more challenging for you to stick to that long term, which is why we see a lot of people start a diet, cut back on junk food, cut back on whatever thing that they're trying to cut back on, and they do well for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, but eventually they snap and they go back to eating what they were doing because it feels unsustainable. Hey, 1 second before we continue. If you're enjoying this episode, if you're learning something from this show, if you're catching yourself saying, man, this is so helpful, this Paul guy is pretty smart. First of all, thank you. But secondly, if that is you, you might have asked, how can I work with Paul? Can he help me create the change I've been looking for? And if you have, you're in luck. Because after 12 years as a coach, both in person and online, for the first time ever, I'm opening up my calendar specifically to talk to you, my podcast listener. Use the link in the show notes to book a completely free coaching session. If you need help with nutrition, fitness, motivation, mindset, basically anything that goes into building your happy, healthy life, then I want to talk to you. Click the link in the show notes and let's chat. I created this podcast to help, and now I want to go deeper. This is the first time I've ever offered anything like this, and I don't know how long it'll last or how long I'll be able to keep doing it, so take advantage while you can. All right, now let's get back to the show. So the action that you need to start taking and to start making a habit is to focus on eating more rather than eating less. And when I say that, what I mean is eating more of the good stuff. So rather than focusing on cutting out the bad stuff, I teach my clients to eat more of the good stuff to crowd it out. So good stuff, bad stuff, what does that mean? Although I don't like to group foods into those labels, I think we'd all have some instinct or some understanding at this point of what foods are moving us towards more health and what foods are moving us away from our health. So if I want to be healthier, I know that fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, water to drink, those move me closer to a healthy life. And foods like deep fried everything, ice creams and things that are just pure sugar and processed junk, those are probably moving me farther away from my health goals. So if we don't like the terms good and bad, which I don't, we can say moving us closer to our healthy goals and moving us farther from our healthy goals. So I want more foods that move me close to my healthy goals. That's fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole foods, foods where the entire food is the thing. Broccoli, rice, potato, steak. There's no ingredient list. It just is the thing. When I focus on eating more of those foods tend to be more filling, more satiating. They make me feel fuller. They make me feel more satisfied. So even though I'm cutting out the French fries, cutting back on ice cream, maybe not cutting out completely, but cutting back on ice cream, cutting back on beers, cutting back on all these things, I'm filling that empty space with more salad, more fruits, cherries, blueberries, whatever, more smoothies, more Greek yogurt, more beef jerky, more of these healthy foods, so that I'm not just starving myself and I'm not just hating everything about, oh my gosh, this is such a drag. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I have no energy. Oh, I can't sleep. All of these different things that come from just cutting out foods. So the focus is not cut out, cut out, cut out, cut back, cut back, cut back. It's eat more of the things that are moving you closer to your healthy life. And that brings me to the second powerful action that you can work on to build a habit before the start of the new year. And that's simply reading your nutrition labels. It flabbergasts me and blows my mind that people do not understand how to read nutrition labels or even try to. This one habit can and will change everything about your life if you simply start doing it. Nothing goes into your grocery cart, nothing goes into your fridge at home, and nothing goes into your body that you don't first read the nutrition label. Anything that you are buying, when you take it off the shelf at the grocery store, before you put it into your cart, turn it around and look at the nutrition label. Look at the calories, look at the serving size. Just understanding that and having some frame of reference for what you're eating will give you so much of a better idea of, point one, how to eat more of the stuff that is moving you towards more health. Because you might be asking yourself when I was talking before, well, how do I know? Obviously, some things are obvious, lettuce versus French fries, an apple versus ice cream, but some things are a little bit more gray area. Well, that comes down to learning to read nutrition labels. Even if you don't understand nutrition labels, one, I can send you a video on it. I have videos that I've done. So if you really don't understand nutrition labels, send me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email, my Instagram at Paul Levitin or TikTok, wherever, and I will send you a free video explaining and breaking down nutrition labels so you don't have to guess. But the simple act of reading nutrition labels over and over, again, making it a habit, you'll start to learn, you'll start to understand more. So that alone will change the decisions that you make. You'll say, oh, this thing that I was about to grab has twice the amount of calories as this other thing right here. Maybe I'll just grab that. Oh, this thing that I'm about to grab that I thought was healthy is actually really high in sugar and really high in excess carbs and doesn't have any fiber and doesn't have any protein. Maybe I won't actually grab that thing. If not, you're just grasping at straws in the dark. You have to be educated if you're going to make an informed decision. So this can't be overstated. If you're not someone who reads nutrition labels right now, that habit alone will change your life. And it goes hand in hand with knowing what foods to choose to eat more of rather than just only knowing this is bad, so I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so those are the two powerful actions you can do around your nutrition and your eating. And the next powerful action is planning your weeks. Scheduling what you need to have done. And I know that it can be a little bit overdone. People talk about time management and calendars and time blocking and all of that stuff. But I specifically want to say, plan fitness first. If your goal is to be healthy, to feel better, to live longer, to be able to show up for your kids more, maybe to look better even, but that all aside, just being able to live a longer, more fruitful, more healthy life, have a better quality of life for years and decades to come, you have to be working on your fitness. We know this. This is not a guess anymore. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. This is a God's honest truth, and we know it. So why then does fitness always take a backseat? Why is it always the thing that you're squeezing into your schedule at the very last minute? Why is it after work, after taking the kids, after doing the groceries, after doing the laundry, after doing all of these things that you maybe see if you can squeeze an hour or two into the gym? And I know it's easy to say, well, it's like, well, I have to do all those things. I don't have to work out. But the reality is you don't have to work out if you don't care about the quality of your life. If you care about the quality of your life, then you do have to make time for exercise. You do have to make time for walking. You do have to make time for all of these little things that most people don't prioritize. So I want fitness, and we can throw things like grocery shopping and meal prepping into this too, to stop taking a backseat, to not be the redheaded stepchild or the last thing to go on your to-do list. Put fitness first. Put your health first. Put yourself first. So if you're not someone who plans their week or schedules things out, that's a good place to start. But if you are that person already, change the order of operations, change the priorities, and make health, exercise, make going for a walk 3 times for an hour on your schedule before you schedule your work calls, before you schedule your dinners out. Maybe you have date night with your wife or your husband. What if you did that as a fitness thing rather than scheduling all these dinners and going out and doing things, but then, oh, I don't have time to do the things I need to do for my health. So I challenge you to start building this habit of putting your fitness, your health, again, I throw grocery shopping and meal prepping in here too first. The fourth powerful action that you can start to make a habit before the end of the new year is simply to control your consumption. I'm sure you've heard just as much as anyone else over the past years how bad it can be to be constantly consuming the massive onslaught of junk that's out there that's always coming at us. And especially now that AI and all these AI video things are out and just growing, this can't be overstated. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, they're all fighting for your engagement and fighting for your time. They're fighting to keep your eyeballs glued on them. And when your eyeballs are glued on these things, you're not doing anything else. You're not putting your fitness first, like I just said. You're not focused on eating those healthful foods that are bringing you closer to your healthy life. You're not learning how to cook or reading nutrition labels. You're scrolling. So I'm not saying to cut that out completely. I'm not saying don't watch Netflix. I love Netflix. Stranger Things just came out. I'm going to binge watch it. But my point is to start to control your consumption. Take a look at how much time you spend doing that per week. It's just that will be a sobering thing to look at. If you sat and calculate how much time do you spend watching TV, watching your phone per week. And then whatever that is, cut it back by 2 hours. Whatever it is, cut it back by 10%. We don't need to jump out the window with this. You don't need to say, I'm never going to watch anything on my phone. That would be unrealistic. What you can say is, I'm going to start to only consume at X, Y, and Z times. I'm only going to watch Netflix after I've gone for my walk for the week, pairing the last habit and this one. I'm going to only scroll on social media while I'm riding the recumbent bike at the gym. There are ways to make this less of a detrimental habit, because make no mistake, constant consumption of junk media, of scrolling, of short form TikTok content, even of Netflix, it is a net negative on your health if you're letting it be that. You can do it in a thoughtful way. And if you make that a habit, it will change the trajectory of your life, because this stuff is only going to get more and more potent. It's only going to get more addictive. So you need to take a step to control your consumption now, because it's never going to get easier than it is today. And then the last powerful action that you can make a habit before the start of the year, this is kind of a catch-all. Simply move towards excitement. Let excitement and enthusiasm be the driver of what you choose to work on. So many people, especially at this time of the new year, it's like, well, I gotta lose weight. I gotta start going to the gym. I gotta. You don't have to do anything. And when you do things from that energy of, well, I don't want to, but I'm going to because I have to, you're fighting a very hard fought battle. It is very hard to stay consistent and to stay motivated to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. If you're doing something because you have to do it, but the reality is you don't actually have to do it. Meaning you're saying, well, I have to start working out, but you don't have to because you haven't been working out already. You have to breathe. That's why you're breathing. You have to eat every day. That's why you eat. Anything that you have to do, you're already doing. So by definition, if you're not doing something right now, then you don't have to do it. You might say, I have to go to work. Okay, that's about it. So if you're saying, I'm going to start eating healthier because I have to, even if you have diabetes, even if you have some pre-existing condition where your doctor has told you you're going to get sicker if you don't fix it, you still don't have to do that thing. You can just get sicker. You can just get worse. And that is the decision that you're actually choosing when you're trying to force yourself to do something. So rather than trying to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do, start with excitement and enthusiasm. Yes, it would be good if you started to exercise more, but that doesn't mean you have to start going to the gym and lifting weights. You could start playing pickleball. You could start riding your bike. You could start taking taekwondo. You could start rollerblading with your kids. There are so many options. And if any of those feel better to you, maybe just now when you heard me say rollerblading with your kids, your eyes lit up and you went, I didn't even think about that. That's what you need to move towards. Move towards that excitement and that enthusiasm. Move towards the things that you actually want to be doing, as opposed to trying to force yourself to do something that you don't actually care about, because all that's going to lead to is you dragging your feet and eventually giving up and quitting. So just to recap, the 5 powerful actions that you can start today to build into habits before the start of the new year. Eat more, not less. Eat more healthful foods to crowd out the foods that take you away from your prime health. Don't think about just cutting things out. Think about eating more of the things that are going to make you need that other stuff less. Second is learn to read nutrition labels and make that a habit. Nothing goes into your grocery cart, nothing goes into your fridge unless you've read the nutrition label. Number 3 is plan your weeks with fitness and health first. Plan when you're going to grocery shop. If you're going to meal prep, when is that going to happen? If you're going to go to the gym, if you're going to go on walks, if you're going to do yoga, put those in your schedule first before you start planning all of these other things. Even work things if you have that flexibility. Prioritize your health because no one else is ever going to prioritize it for you. Number 4 is control your consumption. Take a look at what you're consuming in terms of media. Netflix, Hulu, TikTok, whatever it is. How long are you spending on these things each day, each week? And then start to regulate that back just a little bit. Start to think about consumption as a conscious act, not just something you do mindlessly, something you choose to do. Okay, I had a long day at work. I want to zonk out for 2 hours with this new show. Cool. But that's a decision. That's very different than I opened my phone, I scrolled for 2 hours, and I don't even know what happened. Make it a decision and start to scale back even just a little. Even 10% would give you so much more time back, which would allow for those other things that I'm talking about. And then the last piece is move towards excitement and enthusiasm. Rather than trying to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do, because you've tried that before. Every year up until now, you've tried that. Forcing yourself to do a diet you hate. Forcing yourself to go to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym. Forcing yourself to run when you hate running. Instead, what do you want to do? What would feel good? What would make you smile to do it? Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's learning to cook. Maybe it's taking cooking classes because you never knew how to cook and that's what stops you from cooking nutritious food. So maybe taking a few cooking classes as a fun weekend activity rather than going out to dinner for a date at Cheesecake Factory again. Take these actions right now. They're actions because they're effortful. You're going to have to try first. But if you do these day after day, week after week, coming into the new year, they will already feel easier and be well on their way to be habits that are moving you towards your better, happier, healthier life. And that is change made easy. Before you go, I want to talk to you. Literally. For the first time ever in over 12 years as a coach and 4 years doing this podcast, I'm opening up my schedule to help listeners like you for free. I'm offering a free coaching session to you as a thank you for supporting this show. I help people create their healthy habits and happy lives and create positive change around their health, wealth, and relationships. Whatever you're working on, mind, body, and soul, we can cover it all. If you're struggling, I want to help you build a plan to get through it and past it. So go into the show notes and click the link that says book a free call today. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep doing this, and my schedule will fill up. So if you want to take advantage, make it happen ASAP.